Hi everyone, I'm Kate Noble from Shine Yoga in Cincinnati. This class here today is a sampling of what I might present in some of my gentle yoga for joints and spine. So in that class, we're working on joint mobility and balance throughout the body's kinetic change. So that's how all the body parts work together. And in that class, a lot of us are dealing with wrist, knee, low back, shoulder issues. So this practice is very respectful of all of those vulnerabilities. So there's very little that's weight bearing, and we're going to work on core stability and joint mobility, so it's very functional in that sense. So for this class, we're going to mostly use the wall, and if you don't have room where you're watching this, you could just grab the back of a chair or the back of a couch, something like that. All right, so we're gonna begin standing, again, either with your hands on your chair or your hands on the wall. And I do wanna remind you that nothing in this sequence should cause any more pain than what's normal for you. If you have joint issues, you might normally have some pain. So just using that as your gauge, and if there's anything that causes more pain, you should stop doing that or modify that. If you have any lightheadedness or dizziness, that you should stop. And if any of those symptoms persist, then you should check in with someone that can give you some medical advice. So nothing in this video should be construed as medical advice. All right, having said that, we wanna have the hands on the wall so we're supported in our balance, and just feel into your feet and legs. And as long as you can balance with your eyes closed, do that now. So let your eyes close. Feel into your body and into your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. And ask yourself what that balance feels like from right to left and front to back. And feel free to adjust it so that you feel an equal balance of feeling steady and easy, relaxed. And we're just gonna hold that for another couple of breaths. So the Yoga Sutras is one of the oft quoted yogic texts. And most of that book has directions for keeping a sense of inner balance, which is really more about consciousness. And it has a singular line about yoga poses. And so it says that all the yoga poses, the postures should be steady and easy. So we're looking for that balance, steady and easy. Go ahead and let your eyes open up now. And this next thing is trickier than it sounds like. We're gonna lift up onto the balls of the feet, up and down, up and down. And you might notice that you tend to pitch forward. And if you're pitching forward, I'm going to encourage you to try to go more straight up and down instead of forward and up and down. And you can do that by hugging into your core and working to balance your weight over your heels. So most of us wear shoes at least sometime throughout the day, and even fairly flat shoes sometimes have like a 1/4 inch heel, so we're always a little pitched forward. So we're accommodating for that habit, that tendency to pitch forward, and just trying to go straight up and down. Okay, standing on both feet now, just take your right foot back and press your right heel to the ground. Your hands can be anywhere that's comfortable for you. Our focus is on the back, right lower leg, calf, Achilles. A little bit of the bottom of the foot gets stretched there, the plantar fascia. Take a good deep breath. And then we're just going to change sides. Right foot forward and left foot back. The front knee is bent. The back heel is pressing towards the ground. Good, full, deep breaths. Next, we're going to take what I call wall puppy. So you're going to reach your arms straight up over your head. Try to keep them fairly shoulder distance apart. A little wider is okay, but you don't want them to be too wide apart. And if you can, come onto your fingertips. And then walk your feet back so you have about a 30-degree bend in your hips. If you need to be flat-handed, that's fine. Take a breath in and think about lifting your armpits up. So we call this hollowing out your armpits. Your arm muscles engage. Your arm muscles are working. There's strength there. Then stretch your hips back. So now your spine is stretching. Your arms are strengthening. Your spine is stretching, and then soften your chest and your heart. So I'm not stretching through my chest. My arms are strong, my hips are back, and then I'm softening. There's an element of releasing tension instead of building tension. Take another breath here. And then we're gonna walk the hands lower to hip height, about hip height, maybe a little higher. If that bothers your wrists, you can do dolphin instead. So you interlace your fingers, unhook your pinkies, and let your forearms rest on the wall. And then the same thing, the armpits lift up, the hips stretch back, and then again, you want to soften your heart, not push it down. Take a couple of good deep breaths here, full breaths in and out. Think about keeping your head lined up with your arms. So you can think about keeping your ears right inside your arms. And then we're going to stand up and turn around. We're going to put our hips against the wall. Walk your feet out, so feet are hip distance apart now. And then we're going to bend our knees, and as your knees bend, watch where they go. And then stretch your legs straight, push up. And you want to watch to make sure that your knees are moving fairly evenly and straight forward over your toes. And if they veer out at all, then you want to try to keep the knees tracking right over the ankles and over the middle toes. We're going to come down and hold this, and then stretch your arms up overhead. You might feel that it makes your back want to arch, so you're going to try to keep your belly hugging in as your arms reach up. That's another thing that's not as easy as it sounds. Probably the average is that you can keep your back pretty flat on the wall and your arms about here. So a little extra, you're working those arms up and back. Take a good deep chest breath, and then stand up tall. Use your hands and push yourself away from the wall. If you were not using the wall, I should have mentioned this earlier, you could just do little mini squats like that. Okay, we're turning around, and we're gonna have our legs wide apart. And you want to position yourself that you can touch the wall or a chair, but that you're going to have room to fold. With your feet wide, turn your toes out just so that they're comfortable, and then take a squat goddess squat pose. So our hips are down, but we're keeping our chest up for this first part. And we're trying to track the knees directly over ankles and toes. Take a good deep heart breath here. And then think about moving from the sides of your hips, not from your lower back, from the sides of your hips. Hinge and start to fold. And you might end up here. This might be where it feels good that your hands are about hip height again. Or for some of you, it might feel good to touch the floor. So wherever you feel comfortable, now parallel your feet. Your knees are still bent. Begin to stretch your legs towards straight, just as much as it feels good for you. And then exhale, hinge and fold. Take a good deep breath there. Press down through your feet and legs. Inhale, come up standing tall, and walk your feet together. I need to pause here. Okay, so we're gonna move next to a very familiar yoga pose, side angle pose, but I wanna acknowledge that this can be a challenging posture simply because of the balance component. So in my gentle class, we use the wall for support. But while you're at home, you could use a chair, and you could sit in the chair and you would bend one knee and turn it out to the side, and then stretch the back leg out in the opposite direction. And you can take a nice side stretch there. I just moved to the kind of front corner of the chair. If you wanted to be more stable, you could completely put your front thigh on it. You'd be more supported and you'd be a little more aligned. But we're using this posture to stretch this part of the side body. So, I mean, the truth is you could really just do it just like this as well. Okay, so a couple ways for balance. If you don't feel comfortable in your balance, you can put your whole body against the wall. The front knee turns outward, knee, I'm gonna go down lower, foot, knee, hip, all aligned, and then the back leg is straight. It's a little further out from the wall, so I can lean into the wall, and then you're gonna just bend, and you bring your elbow to your knee, and then this top arm can reach straight up, and you can turn your head to look up. You're gonna hug your belly gently back, think about lengthening your lower back, And then you could take the arm alongside your ear if that feels good in your body. But that version won't feel great for everybody. So just find the one that feels good for you. And then come on up. The other way that we do this pose for just a little support, and then also still gives you a little bit of balance challenge, is that you put your back foot against the baseboard. You know, my couch has got kind of these like claw feet, right? You could put your foot against the bottom edge of the couch. And so again, your back foot's gonna be turned in just a tiny bit. Your front foot turns out. You bend elbow and knee to meet each other, and then top arm straight up overhead. And although this posture goes, you know, in the end form, the arm comes alongside the ear, I like to take a moment where the arm is just straight up, and then you think about width across your chest and between your shoulder blades, not just side body length. So taking a good full deep breath there. Take a nice breath in, and then with your exhale, press down through your feet and legs. Inhale, come on up, standing tall, and then just walk your feet back towards each other. Take a breath in, reach your arms up overhead, and exhale, let your hands come together in front of your heart. Take a sweet deep breath here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this practice in 2 sections. So this will be the end of the first section, the standing part. And then we're gonna come and take a reclined stretch to finish off this practice. So if you didn't wanna do your yoga all in one chunk, you could do maybe this part in the morning and the second part in the afternoon or evening. All right, so if you want more information about our yoga studio, you can find us at www.shineyoga.com. We currently are taking donations in exchange for these classes that we've been offering for free. And just want to say namaste. Hope you have a beautiful day.